On in, ladies.
David, good result before the international break. How important is it to build momentum and pick up on that on Monday?
It was a good result, but ultimately we were a bit disappointed we didn't take all 3 points sort of 5 minutes to go. But to be fair, in the game it was a good point, and I wasn't too disappointed with it.
How special is this game for you on Monday against Everton?
Very special because of the years I had at Everton were again special for me. I had a great time there. I had some really good times, I had some difficult times as well, but more importantly I worked with great people at the club. Great people. Sir Philip Carter, Bill Kenwright were great people to work with, and I was really fortunate to sign really good players who helped me along the way, and also the players who were originally there as well. People like Leon Osman and Tony Hibbett, who were there from day one, were really invaluable to me over the time I was there.
Do you look at Everton as a template for what you want to achieve here?
I do, because it's the only sort of gauge I can use to sort of assure people that the way football is now, that we can't have it instantly. You're going to have to wait time. When we took over at Everton, I went to see Walter Smith, who was the previous manager, and I had to speak to Walter because he was a friend of mine as well. And it was a bit similar here. I went and spoke to Big Sam before I took the job here, and they're both people who I respect and who done a really good job. But Everton, like Sunderland as well, we're close to the bottom of the league, and it's a journey to sort of pick that up, and it can't be done in a quick hit. It just can't be done unless you're going to throw bundles of cash at it, and we didn't do that at Everton, and you can look at them now, and I'm sure that's not what we're going to do at Sunderland either.
Do you see it as a slow build here than a long-term process?
Yeah, people don't always want to hear that, but the fact of the matter is I think the slow builds are better than the fast ones. So the job is to progress every year, make a bit of progress, try and give this club back a real bit of identity, because it's a great club as far as supporters go and as far as the infrastructure they've got. But we need to get a club which is, getting round the middle of the table, and then we'll start to attract another level of player, and then eventually we'll start to attract another level of player. It was the same at Everton. You started at the bottom, we worked up, and if you're using Everton as a template, you can see the difference in the level of players that they're now attracting.
The transfer window has now closed. Are you happy with the makeup of the squad and the competition for places? And what about the new signing and Don what's he going to bring to the Premier League?
Well, we are happy because we were able to bring in new players, and we needed to, because a lot of players had been moved aside or were gone from the club anyway, or were going from the club I should say. So we had to add to the squad. I think as a manager you're always hoping that you can get more and you get better. That's part of it, and as I said, it's part of where we're at. We're only in our first transfer window. It's going to take 3 or 4 transfer windows here at Sunderland to get us a side which I feel hopefully will represent the club the way it should be.
You've got a new goalkeeper in as well. Does that give you good competition with young Jordan Pickford, and have you decided who will be your number one?
Well, Jordan Pickford's got the jersey, and he played really well against Southampton. Made a bit of a mistake for the goal, but as well as that, I want to try and encourage the young players to be in the team. I want to push the young players forward. Lyndon Gooch has played a lot of the games. Now Jason's got the chance to show what he can do it. And I actually think England are in need of good young goalkeepers as well. And I'm sure if Jordan comes through, Sam will know him better than MD. And I'm going to try and progress him. But again, he's got to play well enough to make sure he keeps that position.
And final one from me, Manchester Derby, the big game this weekend. From your experience, how fierce is that rivalry? And like the rest of us, you're looking forward to looking at the dugouts and seeing Mourinho up against Guardiola?
Well, I've not even thought about any other game bar my own. But obviously there is a big game in Manchester. I'm well aware of it. And I think it's a classic game, but there's also a big game in Scotland which I'm really fond of, Celtic Rangers game as well. So it's a great weekend for football fans to watch games. But the most important thing is me preparing for my old club coming up here on Monday night.
Will you get to watch any of the games?
I'll try. I love watching football. I like going to games. I like watching them. So if I can get a chance to watch them, I certainly will.
David, Preston was a good-sized club, of course. But do you remember your first day at Everton and and the prospect of taking over a club with such magnificent history?
No, I certainly do. I get lost on the way in to the training ground at Everton. Very nervous. I'd done the press conference on the Thursday night and took the team on the Friday morning, and we played Fulham in the first game, and thankfully for me, David Moyes scored a goal after 28 seconds, I think it was. So it was a great start to my career, especially when you come a little bit as an unknown to a Premier League side. And as I said, and I've mentioned, I was really fortunate that I had good players then. I had senior players as well. Walter Smith had left me the club in a much better condition than it had been previous. And hopefully, people would see it that we went on and took it on to another level as well, qualifying for the Champions League. I think in the last 8 years we're never out the top 8 regular teams in the European competitions, and also working on an extremely low budget compared to the other clubs. So we had to build a club as well as do it with very little money.
Was there a particular game, a particular moment that stands out as a favourite in your 11 years?
Well, I had so many good times at Everton, it would be hard, but probably our first trip in Europe with Everton was fantastic. We're in Nuremberg with Everton, it was incredible. But I also always remember when Wayne scored the goal against Arsenal. I can remember being back in the dressing room, and it's a great thing, Goodison. You can hear the supporters going down the street, and on 2 or 3 occasions you could tell the noise outside. That was one of them. And also, the night we beat Manchester United, Duncan Ferguson scored a header to really get us in qualifications for the Champions League. So they're the ones that make the goosebumps sort of come out and I think about. But part of the journey, having the good times, is you've got to go through the other times as well. And I could tell you we had some disappointing times as well. But overall, it was a great period.
You have faced them since, so I guess you know what emotions you'll be going through on Monday night again.
Yeah, it's like when you become the manager of a football club, you support that club, that's the club, you're not interested in anything else. You're only interested in winning for your club. I'm only interested in winning for Sunderland.
What sort of job do you think Ronald Koeman will do? As you say, he has been given money to spend.
Well, I think the expectations at Everton have changed dramatically, but I think Ronald Koeman done a great job at Southampton. But you've got to say, they were a club which were very well built, very well prepared. I think he's taken over another football club which has been very well built and prepared. And I think now with the money they've got themselves in a position to really challenge the top teams now. And I do think that Everton, certainly in the years to come, are going to be a threat for most of the top teams.
One player from your days at Everton, Victor Anishabi, signed to help, obviously, the load on Jermaine Defoe. How match fit is he? I mean, I've seen some of his pre-season videos. He's been doing on his own. He's been working hard on his fitness, but there's a difference, isn't there? Again. Yeah,
no, he's not fit yet, and I'm not going to rush him back to full competitiveness yet. But we need him because he's rightly so. So we didn't get back up to Jermaine, so we've got Victor, and Victor I know very well will give us some things which we don't have, and we'll try and use him at the right time. I want him to be in peak condition, because when he is, he can be a handful, and he gives us a little bit of Premier League experience, which in some cases we don't have.
How is the injury situation at the moment?
It's improving. Jan Kirchhoff played in midweek. Lee Catamol's returned to training. So they're the main two. Seb Larsson, Vito Manoni. They're going to be a while, as we know. They're long-term injuries. So things are a little bit better. 1 or 2 knocks and bruises picked up from international games and international training week as well, which we've tried to use to get 1 or 2 people some work in. So, but we'll be fine. Hopefully, we'll get a team out in the pitch. I'm sure about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
David.
Cheers. Thanks.